Hey guys, how's it going? So today is a bit of an impromptu vlog. See, I wasn't planning on doing anything. I'm just on my way to meet up with some people. But I woke up this morning with quite a bad headache. Nothing no one's ever heard of or anything, but yeah. So I have a headache this morning. But I also have a bike with a very loud exhaust. And right now, I wish I had a very quiet exhaust, my stock exhaust back on it, just for today, because I've got a headache. And it made me think, how many people out there have gone and bought these aftermarket really loud exhausts, fitted them and everything, and immediately had a regret and wanted it quieter? So I just want to hear from you guys. What are the exhausts that you've put on your bike? How loud was it, and did you regret it afterwards at any point? Have you wanted to go back to stock? So let me give you guys a little backstory on why I actually went for such a loud exhaust on my bike. So I spoke about it very quickly in my long-term review of the CBR 600F video, which I'll put a link up to now. But basically I got this exhaust because I wanted to be more audible on the road, because I wanted people to notice me quicker. As a biker, you know that often you're gonna get people not seeing you on the bike, and they're just gonna, you know, turn into your lane, cut you off, all that kind of stuff, which is really dangerous. But with a louder exhaust, people will hear you, especially when you're lane splitting, and at least know that you're there. They may still cut in front of you because they're dicks, but at least the people who aren't will know that you're there and maybe give you a little bit more gap or not move into your way. And that was the whole premise behind it. And my idea before was like, you know, you have to spend a whole lot of money to get an aftermarket exhaust. I actually looked up what an Akrapovic full system cost for my bike, and it was around 38,000 Rand, I think. I paid 37,000 for this bike. There's no way I'm paying 38 for an exhaust system. So I tried to look at other options, and I found a local company in SA that does exhaust systems, from slip-ons to full systems, and I thought, you know what, let me go grab an exhaust from them. So I went to this company and I asked them, what kind of exhaust do you do on a bit of a budget? I wanted to look decent, but what's most important to me is the sound. I want to be audible on the road. It doesn't have to be ridiculously loud, but it needs to be more than that very quiet stock Honda. So I went to them and they showed me an exhaust. This is the one I got on my bike now, and for a decent price. I think I paid 4,500 Rand for it, 5,500 Rand, around there, which is not bad at all for full slip-on that has carbon fiber on the tip. So I had it installed, and at the time I was very busy with varsity, so through my mother's bike shop I was able to have them go and drop the bike off and pick it up for me from these people, because they're good contacts, and have the exhaust fitted. So I hadn't seen it after it had been fitted. I only saw it a few days later when I was a bit more free. I went and checked the bike, and I had just done a recording on my phone of what it sounded like stock, just in case it was a very subtle difference and I was only like through video that I could tell, kind of thing, or if I got used to it too fast. So I had the recording of stock exhaust, and I did the same with an aftermarket exhaust, and there was no difference. Like, I'm not even kidding, there wasn't even a slight subtle change. In some places it almost sounded like the stock exhaust was louder. So I thought to myself, how is this possible? I checked the exhaust, it was a straight pipe, there's no baffling in it. There's no removable baffle, at least, and there was a very straight pipe inside. The diameter of the hole was much bigger, the Honda was much more compact, and everything. I couldn't figure it out. So it turns out, if you want to have a CBR 600F that sounds nice, you got to do a full system, because most of the baffling sits in the catalytic converter. Most people would say, woo, that's fine, I don't mind, you know, get more power if you tune it, more noise, lighter bike, it's win-win. But for me, that was a bit of a problem, because I'd already spent a bit of money here, and I thought, how am I going to be able to afford a full system now? It's almost like I've wasted it. There's no point in me having this extra exhaust on here, because it's cost me money and it's made no difference to my sound or performance. So I went back to the place and I said, listen, this made no difference whatsoever. I was expecting a decent change in sound. They said, well, you're going to have to do a full system now. So I said, what's that going to cost me? And they said, if I want to do a full stainless steel system from headers all the way to the can, custom made for my bike, you know, they'd have to go and build it up. They do more custom stuff than off the shelf. And so they told me that to build that full system would cost me about 10,000 Rand. Still a lot cheaper than most of the other big brands, but it's 10,000 Rand I didn't have at the time. You know, the whole reason for me getting this bike for so cheap was that was my budget. I had very little to spend on accessories and that afterwards, and it was basically just to fix it up because I had some knocks in it. So I went and spent my money, and I looked at that and I thought, no, that's too expensive. You know, is there any kind of cheaper way? Do you have any pre-assembled units? Do you not? Can you import one for me from another brand that's cheap? And they said, well, what else they can do is they do a half kind of full system. What they do is they actually take an angle grinder, cut out the catalytic converter, like just chop it right out of the exhaust, and weld on a loop pipe, which will deal with the back pressure bit. Obviously this is not a performance system, this is not for racing, so for me it didn't matter if there was 1 or 2 horsepower lost or gained, because I was happy with my bike's performance as it was. I didn't need more than that. More would have been nice, but not necessary. So I asked him, how much does that cost? He told me 1,500 Rand. So I'm thinking, wow, that's a lot better. That's very cheap in comparison to what else I've been offered. Yeah, let's do it. So I went and did that, and lo and behold, I come to check it, and I actually went to go collect it myself this time. Start the bike up there in the workshop, and I was expecting it to be a little bit louder, like what a CBR 600RR would sound with just the end can removed. No, this thing was loud. It sounds almost like a Fireblade with the way it hums at the low revs. And the camera never picks it up properly. You know, you're never going to get the proper audio. That's why most people that have seen my bike in person comment on how loud it is and how great it sounds, whereas over videos they're like, yeah, it sounds pretty good. So yeah, so that's the story of how I got this exhaust and why I got it. So why don't you guys tell me your story? I'm sure 90% of them are going to be, I wanted more power and noise, so I got it, which is fair. I mean, that's one of the most logical reasons to get an exhaust system. But have you had any regrets with what you bought? Have you wanted to go quieter? Have you ever considered putting your stock silencer back on with the decat in there? Well, let me know in the comments below, guys. I'm always interested to hear your opinions and your thoughts. I've been Aero Rider, you've been awesome, and I'll see you in the next one. Ride safe.